to have an opportunity to have a roundtable discussion and talk about some hot button issues that are very important to the educational system here in Escambia County. First, I'm Austin Corson. I'm an agricultural educator and an FFA advisor at Tate High School, and I'll be providing the opening to this afternoon and giving us some direction for this evening. Forums such as this are happening across the state of Florida and across our nation, where individuals, community leaders, and stakeholders can come together and brainstorm and bridge ideas that can only build a stronger system for our students to be educated in each and every day. I'm going to tell you this. As a teacher, when I enter the classroom each and every day, I have to have a support group of people that stand behind me for me to do my job. If there's any teacher that ever says that they enter the classroom and can do the job alone, they're not telling you the whole truth. Because I have a principal, I have support staff, I have bus operators, I have parents, I have community leaders, I have people who believe in the service that I do each and every day, and without that belief, I wouldn't be able to do the job that I do. Before we continue our thoughts, I'd like to recognize several special individuals that's with us this evening. Keith Leonard, the Director of Human Resources for Escambia County. Mr. Paul Fetzko, School Board Member, Escambia County. Bill, representing the National Federation of Teachers. Nicole Sipka, representing Florida Education Association. And Donna Harper, President of the Escambia Education Association.
I just wanted to say a couple of quick words, and that is that I'm an educator of 49 years, and I cannot imagine not doing this, and I cannot imagine our community not being the most important thing we do for the lives of the children in this community. So thank you for stepping out and stepping up and being here tonight for us to work together and come up with a plan to make our community better for the lives of our children. Thank you.
When I started the opportunity to serve this district 8.5, 9 years ago, I started as a support personnel in the district, and I loved my job each and every day going to school. And then I had the opportunity to be a teacher. And imagine coming from an education family where your mother was a teacher, your aunt was a teacher, the other aunt was a teacher, your uncle worked for the district, and it was something that people dreamed of. And reality is there's many students, there's many children, there's many people across our district who each and every day dream of becoming an educator and educating the future of our community. But we're at a pivotal time in the history of education and how we go about serving our students, and how are we going to answer the call of service that we need in educating the people that will be the leaders of our nation in the future. And there's 3 pillars that I think about each and every day when I enter the classroom. Number 1 is the people, it's the passion, and it's the purpose. When I enter the classroom, I think about the people that I'm serving. Those are those students. When I think of that opportunity, there's something that comes to mind with people. Colonel Tillman actually was the pilot of Air Force One under the presidency of George W. Bush, and he's always said he had a zero-fail mission. When he took that aircraft, Air Force One, into the air, he had a zero-fail. He had to get the president wherever he was going safely. Well, when I enter the classroom, I have a zero-fail mission. If I do a bad job one year, I am now educating 200 students in any given year that is going to exit my classroom that may not be prepared for the future. So we have to think about the people we serve each and every day. That's the 40,000 students in this district who their parents entrust with us to do the very best job. And then we're passionate. We have 3,000 professional educators each and every day, and close to over 2,000 educational staff professionals who have a passion for what we do. But let's not only think about the passion of those professionals in the classroom and those professionals inside of our schools supporting our teachers. We need to think about the parents, the stakeholders, the community members who are passionate about the future of our community. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are not willing to recognize it, but the students that are in our schools today are going to be the future leaders of our community that define the future of the city of Pensacola and Escambia County. That's why we should be passionate about education. Because when we fail this system, we will not have a future. The investments that we make today will be the investments for tomorrow. And that goes into purpose. And I have a story. And Donna's going to kill me with a story. But when I started working with the school system 8.5 years ago, there came a time, and this is a true story. I got so upset because this parent questioned my service that I was giving to the school system. I was so upset, I was hurt because someone questioned my ability to serve the people that I was serving. And so I found this advertisement in the newspaper for U.S. Airways, and I accepted a job with U.S. Airways because I was an aviation student. And that's what I said, you know what, I just decided I don't want to teach. I don't want to go down this career path. And I changed paths for 18 months, and I went and worked for U.S. Airways. But I'll never forget the day. So imagine an aircraft sitting on the runway with a tarmac right out by the jet bridge, little CRJ 200. And that day we had irregular ops. It was raining, and so the flight was delayed. And so Mo said, Austin, you stand by the aircraft and you board people. And so I was standing out there tearing boarding passes, getting people on board the aircraft, and it was about that 5 minutes. Well, I was one of those people that if my aircraft was supposed to leave at a certain time, she was going regardless of whether you were on it or not. So I had an attitude, maybe just a little bit of attitude problem with serving other people. So this day, I was standing there and I was like, this flight's going to DC and it's going to be on time. And I called Mo, I said, Mo, the aircraft's got to go. He said, hang on, there's 2 ladies coming down the escalator. I'll never forget, I'm standing beside the CRJ 200. There's the door over there for the jet bridge, and I scream at these ladies, hurry up. You think they ran any faster? They just kept on moseying along. And they get over there, and I said, ma'am, this is a regional jet. You need to put your bag here, let me yellow check it, and get on the bag. And she started crying. Get on the plane. She started crying. I said, ma'am, I don't have time for that today. You need to put your bag on the cart and get on the plane, or you need to get back in the building. You're not flying. She cried even more, and she reluctantly put her bag on the cart. She got on board the aircraft, and about 3 minutes later, as I was figuring out the weight and balance to dispatch the aircraft to go to DC, the flight attendant came back to the door, and she was crying. And she said, their father is in the back. I had one purpose that day. One purpose, ladies and gentlemen, and that was serving those passengers. And I failed to serve them because I didn't have an ability to put myself in their shoes and understand what they were going through. And ladies and gentlemen, they came to Pensacola to get their father. He was cremated. He was a decorated World War II veteran, and they were taking him to Arlington National Cemetery to be laid to rest for his service to our country. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen, in the service to our school system. We are all headed in different directions. Different people have different beliefs. We all have different values. But ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, we have to come together with one purpose to serve the students in this district. We get one chance, one opportunity to do it right. Just as I was standing on that runway that day, on that tarmac next to Pensacola Airport, not understanding those 2 ladies and the situation that they were going through that day, we're the same difference in the service to our school systems. We've got administration, we've got school board, we've got teachers, we've got union, we've got parents, we've got faith-based leaders, we've got everybody that really, if we just took a second and listened to one another, we could set a direction that can make our school system unstoppable. But we do not take that moment to listen to one another and how we can serve the students in this district. And that's where we are this evening, where one voice can come together and we can set some expectations of what we want to accomplish as a community. Before we actually get into the round table this evening, I have 3 individuals that's going to come forward and share some thoughts, and then we will start the rotations of some of the hot button issues. So, first we're going to start with Pastor Tyler from New Dimensions Church. Yeah.